our subject matter expert. Scott's going to be here to answer questions during our question and answer sessions. So if when we get to those points, Scott will be very valuable with his information there. The format today is we've got about 15 minutes of video content to show you. It's broken up into 16 different clips. We're going to play a few clips and then have a question and answer session with Scott. So in some instances, we'll play 2 clips. In some instances, we'll play 3 clips. In some instances, we'll play 1 clip and then have a question and answer session. I did send out an email to everyone who had registered before 11:30 this morning that has the outline on it. So if you want to follow along, that outline should be in your inbox in your email. And just a reminder that everyone is going to be a live mic during our question and answer sessions. It's kind of set up more like a web meeting than a webinar. So we would just ask that you don't talk over one another. If you have a question, wait till the other person's finished asking their question and Scott's done answering. And we'll be sure to get to everybody's questions, okay? So without further ado, we're going to play the first 2 clips, and then we'll have a question and answer. We'll open up the mics and have a question and answer session for everyone. The first 2 clips are going to be the startup of the machine and the count mode. So here they are.
Startup. To turn the KRB Bender Head 2000 on, locate the main power switch on the back of the machine. Switch the main power to on. The Bender Head 2000 will light up and display the startup screen. From here, there are 3 functions you can select by using the F1, F2, and F3 keys on the keypad. Be sure and read each screen, as it displays what function the keypad will navigate to. The function on each screen may be different. From the startup screen, the F3 key takes you to angle mode. Angle mode is used only after a bar size has been calibrated. See the angle mode video. The F2 key takes you to count mode. Count mode allows you to enter the number of counts in order to achieve a desired angle. The controller does not need to be calibrated in order to run in count mode. See the count mode video. The F1 key takes you directly to the calibrate screen. See the calibration video. Count mode. From the home screen, press the F2 button to enter the count mode screen. At the top of the count mode screen, the display indicates the bar size you are working with, the pin size you should be bending around, and the number of shapes you plan to produce. The bend pin sizes are for reference only. The standard for a bar size may have changed. The old standard for number 8 bar used to be a 5-inch pin. Now it is a 6-inch pin. Reference your manual for the latest updates. There are 9 lines of information you can enter per setup. Each is numbered 1 to 9. Count in this column represents the number of counts to achieve a desired degree. The D represents the direction of the bend, clockwise or counterclockwise. The R column represents how many times you would like to repeat that bend. For instance, if you wanted a square tie with all the bends being 90 degrees, you could repeat that line 4 times instead of entering it in manually 3 more times. The right-hand side displays which functions the keypad represents. Set uses the F4 button on the keypad to navigate you to the bar size select and shape count screen. Memory uses the F3 button on the keypad to navigate you to save a setup. Trim uses the F2 button on the keypad to increase the counts of a bend on a selected line. Use the F1 button on the keypad to decrease the counts of a bend on the selected line. Use the Tab key and back buttons on the keyboard to navigate back and forth between columns, and use the up plus and down minus key to navigate between rows. To start programming your shape, be sure that line 1 is selected. Enter the number of counts needed. In this case, we are using 180 counts. Use the Tab key to move to the next column, D, for direction of the bend. Notice the screen changes. Use the F2 key from the keyboard to select clockwise and the F1 button to select counterclockwise. Press Enter to move to the next line. Notice the number 2 is highlighted. Continue to program your shape.
Okay, so that was the first 2 clips, startup and count mode. And now we're going to open up the mics so that everybody can ask questions. So does anybody have any questions for Scott on startup and the count mode, the first 2 clips? Okay, all right. I don't really hear any questions. So we'll go ahead and we're going to play the next 2 clips. The next 2 clips are going to be bar size and then saving a shape to memory.
Bar size select screen. To select a different bar size, use the F4 button from the keypad. You will enter the bar size select screen. To select a larger bar size, use the F4 button from the keypad. To select a smaller bar size, use the F3 button from the keypad. The bend pin sizes are for reference only. The standard for a bar size may have changed. The old standard for number 8 bar used to be a 5-inch pin. Now it is a 6-inch pin. Reference your manual for the latest updates. To set up the number of parts you want to run, use the counter setup. Enter the number of parts using the keypad. Save a setup to memory. To save a setup into the memory from the setup screen, press the F3 button on the keypad. This navigates you to the Setup Memory Save/Get screen. Give your setup a number and press the F2 button to save the setup to memory. You will then be redirected to the Setup Run screen and ready to bend with a directional light for line 1 illuminated. The controller can save up to 99 shapes. However, please note, it does not allow you to select from a list or library like other KRB controls. Please record your setups to recall them by number later. To get a saved shape from the Setup Run screen, press the F3 button on the keypad. Enter the shape number you recorded, then press the F1 button from the keypad. The shape will load into the Setup Run screen.
All right, guys, so that was bar size select screen and save a memory to memory, save a shape to memory. We may have had a technical difficulty on our first question and answer session. So if you have any questions covering startup, count mode, the bar size select screen, or saving a memory to shape, now's the time to ask Scott. Do I have any questions from the audience? Nobody? Bueller? Okay. Sounds good. So what we'll do is we're going to move on and we're going to play 3 clips this time. We're going to go over switching between modes, the control configuration screen, and we'll cover chalk marks. And then we'll have another question and answer session after that. So here they are.
Switching between modes. Once you are either in count mode or angle mode, you may have the need to switch modes. There is a series of screens that allows you to switch between modes. From the Run Setup screen, press F4 from the keypad for Bar Size Setup screen. Then press the F1 button from the keypad for the Calibrate screen. Press the F1 button again for the Controller Configure screen. Use the Tab key to scroll down and the back key to scroll up the screen to the line that says Use Angles. Use the up plus and down minus key to toggle between modes. Press the Escape button from the keypad to return to the Run Setup screen. Notice the mode has changed. Controller Configuration screen. From the Run Setup screen, press F4 from the keypad for Bar Size Setup screen. Then press the F1 button from the keypad for the Calibrate screen. Press the F1 button again for the controller configuration screen. Use the Tab key to scroll down and the back key to scroll up the controller configure screen to the line you would like to modify. Use the up plus and down minus key to toggle selection on and off. Backlight turns the screen off. Key press beep turns an audible beep on or off. Chalk display shows the bend deductions for the given bar size and pin selected. See the chalk marks video. Use angles lets you toggle between modes. See the switching between modes video. Metric will give you metric units instead of imperial units. Chalk marks. From the Run Setup screen, press F4 from the keypad for bar size setup screen. Then press the F1 button from the keypad for the Calibrate screen. Press the F1 button again for the controller configuration screen. Use the Tab key to scroll down and the back key to scroll up to the controller configure screen to the line that says Chalk Display. Use the up plus and down minus key to toggle selection on and off. Press the Escape key from the keypad. You will be returned to the Run Setup screen. Now, when you enter lines in, the controller will help you do the bend deductions and display them in the CH column for chalk marks.
Okay, so we covered switching between modes, the control configuration screen, and chalk marks. So this opens up another question and answer session. Does anybody have any questions for Scott? All right, this video content must be hitting every point because Scott is feeling a little bit lonely now that he's not answering any questions. So, but that's fine, no problem. So that's what we're here for. Now, the next clip is going to be a little bit longer, and it covers calibration. So we're just going to play the one clip. It goes a little bit longer. I do anticipate we should have some questions about calibration after this clip. So we'll try to answer them right after this.
At 1:30.
Calibration. To calibrate a specific bar diameter, counts are used to determine what makes a 90-degree bend and what makes a 180-degree bend. In this instance, we are calibrating for number 6, 20-millimeter bar. Once you have your bar size selected, see bar size select screen video, and your table set up for that bar size, enter a count of about 100. Use this number and dry run the machine, run without bar, in either direction. Observe the machine operate to determine how many counts will be required to get a 90-degree bend. Dry run the machine and adjust the counts a few more times until it appears to be close to a 90-degree bend. Once it appears visually correct, bend some material to see the result. Use the table edge as a visual check. Adjust the number of counts as needed until 90 degrees is achieved. Note the number of counts to achieve 90 degrees. Now enter the number of counts for 180 degrees. Observe the machine operate to determine if more or less counts will be required to get a 180-degree bend. Dry run the machine and adjust the counts a few more times until it appears to be close to 180 degrees. Once it appears visually correct, bend some material to see the result. Adjust the number of counts as needed until 180 degrees is achieved. Note the number of counts. To enter the calibration from the Run Setup screen, press F4 on the keypad for settings. Then press the F1 button from the bar size select screen for calibration. Enter the 90 and 180 count values for the selected bar size. After the count values for any given bar size have been entered, press F1 for Configure. This will access the configuration screen. Use the Tab key to scroll down and the back key to scroll up the screen to the line that says Use Angles. Use the up plus and down minus key to toggle between modes. Change Use Angles to Yes. Press Escape. Now the Angle Mode Run screen for that bar size will be displayed. In Angle Mode, bend degrees are entered rather than bend counts.
All right, so that was a clip covering calibration. We're going to unmute your mics again here so that everybody who has a question can answer or ask them. So Scott's available to answer questions if you have any. Anybody? Okay. All right, so the next section of videos is going to be 2 clips. We're going to cover angle mode and shutting down the machine, and then we'll do another question and answer session where Scott will stand here, I guess. So, without further ado, we're going to play those 2 clips next.
Angle mode. Once a bar diameter has been calibrated, you can use angle mode for that bar size. Angle mode allows you to enter in the number of degrees for a bend instead of counts. This allows the operator to enter degrees, and the controller will interpolate the counts needed. Angle mode can only be used if the bar size is calibrated. See the calibration video. Shutdown. To turn the KRB Bender Head 2000 off, locate the main power switch on the back of the machine. Switch the main power to off. The Bender Head 2000 will go dark.
Okay, so those are the last clips covering the basic operations of the Bender Head 2000. We're going to just unmute the mics one more time. And I just want to double check that we don't have any questions at this point. I know my friend James is out there from Mid-City, and I'm having a hard time believing that he doesn't have any questions. James, do you have any questions for us? Okay, apparently not. So, all right. So this last couple of video clips, the last 6, I guess, it's going to cover the basic errors that the Bender Head 2000 can throw off. So the first section, we're going to play 3 clips: home switch stuck at start, the home switch not found, and an encoder failure. And then if you have any questions after that, Scott's available to answer them. So we're going to play these 3 clips, and here they come.
Home switch stuck at start. If the table only partially rotates and you get the home switch stuck at start error, check the homing position switch on the number 14 and number 18 benders to be sure the switch is not damaged or out of adjustment. On the number 11 mechanical bender, check the proximity switch. Press Escape on the keypad to exit out and manually rehome the bender using the illuminated buttons on the controller. Home switch not found at start. If the table only partially rotates and you get home switch not found at start error, check the homing position switch on the number 14 and number 18 benders to be sure the switch is not damaged or out of adjustment. On the number 11 mechanical bender, check the proximity switch. Press Escape on the keypad to exit out and manually rehome the bender using the illuminated buttons on the controller. Encoder failure. If the table only partially rotates and you get encoder failure error, check the encoder assembly and encoder electrical connections on the number 14 and number 18. On the number 11 mechanical bender, check the encoder assembly, the cable to the encoder itself.
Okay, so we covered home switch stuck at start, the home switch not found, and encoder failures. We're going to unmute the mics now to see if there are any other questions. Anybody have any questions at this point? Okay, I'm not hearing any questions. All right, so this is going to be our last set of videos. We're going to cover the e-stop, switch not found on return, and a manual table movement error. So there's 3 clips coming up, and here they are right now.
E-stop. If an e-stop condition occurs, reset the e-stop. Then press the start button on the front of the machine. Be sure your foot is not on the foot pedal when pressing the start button. Rehome the bender by pressing the escape key 1 time. Green light on bend controller will turn on. Then again to return to the home position by pressing the foot switch. If rotation stops before reaching the home position, press the escape key again to repeat the process until home position is reached. Switch not found on return. If the bender is returning home and should stop, you will get a switch not found on return error. To reset, press escape on the keypad. Manually jog the turntable back to home using the illuminated buttons on the control head. Check the homing position switch on the number 14 and number 18 benders to be sure the switch is not damaged or out of adjustment. On the number 11 mechanical bender, check the proximity switch. Manual table movement. When you receive a manual table movement error, the control is not sure where home is. You can manually jog the turntable back to the home position using the illuminated buttons, or hit the escape button twice on the keypad and use the foot pedal to return the turntable to home.
All right, guys, that's all the video clips we have for you today. So we'll do one more unmuting of the mics and just see if there's any final questions. Just a reminder, if you don't have any questions today and you come up with something, you feel free to email us. You can email me, tfalk@krbmachinery.com, and I'll be sure to pass those questions on to Scott so he can get them answered, or if I can't answer them myself. Is there any other questions for him? Okay, I'm going to assume that there's no questions now. We're going to go ahead and mute your mics again. Just want to remind you, can we mute all those mics again?
Yeah, that started before 1:30. Yeah.
So I just want to remind everybody, all this content is going to be online and on our online service center. You don't need a login to see any of our operational videos. So if you go to www.krbmachinery.com, click on the Services tab. The very first tab is Online Service Center. You can browse to the Bender section, and you'll see the Bender Head 2000 operation videos there. You don't need a login. If you do want to log in to access your manuals, preventative maintenance sheets, safety tips, we also have a shop configurator on the Online Service Center. You can email me, tfalk@krbmachinery.com, and I'll be sure to set you up with a login. Or you can contact any of your sales representatives. I want to thank Scott Hartman, who was a little lonely today, but it was good to have him here to answer questions in case there were any. So thanks, Scott, for your time. Also want to thank John Mahala, who is our IT manager, who has been running the board today and made all this technology possible for us. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. We hope to hold these quarterly. The next one we plan on holding sometime in March. We're not exactly sure what subject matter yet, but we'll be sure to keep you in touch and keep you apprised of that situation. So thanks for your participation today. Again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to email us after. We did, in fact, record this webinar, so we'll put that up on the web somewhere that you can access it should you need it. And again, all these clips will be online. So thanks for your time today, and take care. We'll hope to talk to you soon.